Hello, Suns fans. This is Suns Latest. I am Rich Rubin. As of this recording, 975 Sunscribers. Thank you so much for becoming a Sunscriber. You are no longer subs, you are Sunscribers. That's really cool. We're like at, this is episode 89, and we're almost at 1,000. Absolutely incredible. All right, we got a lot to get to, including a huge disappointment. Here's the quote. I never thought I'd lead the NBA in rebounding, but got a lot of help from my teammates. They did a lot of missing. Yeah, that is from Moses Malone, the most underrated superstar ever. Straight out of high school, went right to the ABA, bumped around the NBA, lands with the Rockets, and starts destroying the league. Strong, tenacious, the greatest rebounder ever. No question the greatest offensive rebounder ever. Some folks think that it's Rodman. I'll take Moses over Rodman as the greatest rebounder ever. They were just different types of rebounders. Moses was low post, way in the paint, knocking the crap out of the best big men. Remember, Moses was, 80s and early 90s. Moses was the guy who gave people like Kareem and Artis Gilmore and Bob Lanier and anybody who went up against him, he gave them fits, especially Kareem. Kareem didn't know what to do with him. Beat him in the playoffs more than once. It was kind of interesting to see Kareem go, I don't know. And like nothing cheap about Moses. He just outworked you. He was just really strong. He bullied Kareem, and without getting in his face. The two of them never really got into it. He just outworked him. It was really bizarre to see that. Pretty much a one-man team leading Houston to the finals against the Celtics. They even won 2 games. Wins the MVP with Houston twice. One year he wins it. Over the summer he gets traded to the Sixers, goes to the Philly, wins the MVP of the league again, leads the Sixers to the faux title. That's the team that had Dr. J. Dr. J didn't win an NBA title until Moses joined the team. Reason Charles Barkley became great was because Moses saw him in training camp and said, yeah, you're fat and you're lazy and you're not going to be great unless you get off your ass and come to practice with me. And because of Moses Malone, this is from Charles Barkley, he said, without Moses Malone, I'm out of the league in 3 to 4 years. I was talented, but I was lazy and I didn't figure it out. Moses gave him a workout routine, gave him a work ethic. Charles Barkley becomes Charles Barkley. And there's an argument for Moses being top 10 ever, regardless of position. Argue it. The longevity, the rebounds, playing in the ABA, straight out of high school, 3 MVPs, going head to head with the greatest guys greatest centers of the NBA history, and bullying them. The longevity just still blows my mind. Blows my mind. Not flashy, not pretty, just the most effective guy in every team he played for. And the reason he's not talked about more is his game was just blue collar. Talk about a hustler. Oh, and a great sense of humor, too. Rest in peace, legend Moses Malone. All right, news from around the NBA. Dumbass, punk, idiot, moron, obnoxious, little pain in the ass, profoundly overrated, even when he was mildly decent. Hateful human disaster, and former NBA guard Patrick Beverley arrested and charged with felony assault in what police called a family violence incident. Patrick Beverley is 37, arrested last Friday at his home somewhere in Texas. The Fort Bend County Sheriff Office said bail was set at $40,000. Beverley posted on Twitter, or whatever you want to call it, quote, don't believe everything you see on the internet. And then he didn't sign this thing. He posted that he had unexpectedly found his sister, a minor. He's 37 and he has a sister who's a minor? Okay. Found his sister alone with an 18-year-old man. He was understandably concerned, as any brother would be about a sister. However, we don't believe what followed happened the way it's been described, and we look forward to the opportunity to address that in court. That is what the statement said. So, found his sister alone with an 18-year-old man. So his sister, who's a minor, is with an 18-year-old. Okay, we don't have all the details yet, so I'm not going to talk about that part. I can understand all that, but even without the arrest, I still feel the same way about Patrick Beverley. Tenacious defender for a few years, but when he realized he couldn't do it anymore, he started doing what Draymond's doing now. He turned into an aging punk, baiting and sniping and just doing all these little things that brought attention to him, but not technically playing good defense, just being a pest and pushing people in the back and laughing at people during games and jumping on the scores table when he was a small part of getting his team into the play-in, acting like he won the title. That stuff added a few years to his career, so good for him. He fooled everybody. He last played for the Bucks 2 years ago. I never liked him, and it didn't have much to do with the Chris Paul push in the back. That was just like, that's who he is. And there's people that are saying, yeah, Chris Paul deserved it. And it's like, why was it always with Patrick Beverley that it was somebody else that made him mad? Somebody else that got him ejected. It was always somebody else. It was never Patrick Beverley's kind of a punk and does these kind of a punk things. At least Draymond's is like, yeah, no, I did that. Patrick Beverley was always, no, see him, always pointing the finger at somebody else. But boy, always in trouble, always getting the technical, always getting ejected, always wanting to fight. It's because you sucked and you couldn't play. Coach Green of the New Orleans Pelicans got fired after their 2-10 start. That's Willie Green, who was a Suns assistant on our finals run in 2021. He finishes with a 150 and 190 record, not indicative of how good a coach he was. I understand the need for change, but this team imploded because it sucks. I'm frustrated about this because they look good and gave the Suns fits in the 2022 playoffs, and then they just kind of, I don't know what is with them, but they're a really weirdly run organization. They just kind of caved in, or maybe they're being forced by the NBA. Gave up Anthony Davis, gave up Brandon Ingram. They got Zion Williamson, and Zion they need to be done with him. They need to trade him. He was supposed to be better than Chuck. He's never going to be better than Chuck. He's not available. He doesn't take his life or his game seriously. He bullied everybody in high school. He bullied everybody at Duke. Somebody down the road should have said, hey, by the time you get to the NBA, your bullying days will be over. You might get over on a few guys smaller than you, but there's guys that will not put up with you dunking with the last 10 seconds left in the game. There are guys in the NBA that are going to go after you just because of who you are and what your reputation is. And what do you know? That happened, and it's still happening, and he still won't get in shape, and he's still sitting. There's always an issue with Zion Williamson. They need to move on from him. Don't understand it. He went to Duke. He was blah, 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 blah. No one told him he might have to step up his game. From what I've seen, he actually does play. He's very good. He's not great. He's not even a game changer. Mark my words. Zion Williams can't change a game. He's not there enough. You don't have enough time with him. Yes, he's been an all-star. As I said, he's very good. He's not great. I don't want him on my team. Where's Moses Malone when you need him? They haven't had Jordan Poole or DeJounte Murray available either. This is not on Coach Green, who will find success wherever he lands. I understand the need for a change. I think they should wipe out the whole team, change the name back to the Jazz, let Utah call themselves the Pioneers and make things right, and get rid of Zion. Dylan Brooks, our own Dylan Brooks, fined $25,000 by the NBA on Friday for making a lewd gesture on the court the night before. Hey guys, we need to start a GoFundMe so Dylan Brooks can get his money back because he's really going to miss that $25,000. With 54 seconds left in the first half, the Suns win over the Pacers. It was that weird thing that Embiid did, motion towards the crotch. That Embiid said, the referees do this all the time when they're calling blocking. Why can't we do it? Whatever. Whatever. Brooks does so many things for us. Brooks does so many things that don't show up in the box score, and then he scores 34 points and gets 9 rebounds and is a pest all night defensively. Say it with me. Dylan Brooks is an a-hole, but he's our a-hole. Gotta love Dylan Brooks. All right, moving on to the game tonight. You will not win NBA basketball games if you give up 22 points in the fourth quarter and you let your opponent score 47 points in the fourth quarter. Disappointing. Suns had battled back. Hawks battled back. Hawks were without Kristaps Porzingis. They were out Trae Young. They were without Trae Young. They were without Nikola Jurisic. We just didn't have Grayson Allen, but man, did we miss him. We are that weird, finely tuned machine where if one of the pieces of our machine is gone, we fall apart. We lose 124-122. We are now 8-6. We still had a chance to win, but Royce O'Neal could not make a shot tonight, and I'm not mad at him. I think there's some pressure on him to pick up the slack that Grayson Allen left behind, and it just wasn't his night. Tight game till the third. We outscored Atlanta by 17, then they outscored us by 20. If Royce O'Neal makes 2 more shots, we win. But he was 1 for 10 and 1 for 7 on threes. That's just absurd. That's not him. It's going to happen sometimes. Dylan Brooks leads everyone with 34 and 14 to 25. 3 of 7 on 3, 6 rebounds. What more do you want from Dylan Brooks? Needed more scoring from Mark Williams, who finished with 8. Mark Williams is definitely on load management, and he was game time decision. I think they should have held him out tonight. I think that's just the kind of player he's going to be for us, at least right now. We talked about this. We brought this up. We weren't sure if he was going to be 100% every game. This kind of game where we really needed him, and he gets 8 points and not 10 rebounds. He's still Mark Williams. He's still a great player. He's got to be more available, or if and when he's allowed to play, he's got to do more. Book goes for 27. He is now the 9th leading scorer in the NBA. That's pretty much where he ended up last year. 10 for 23, but 0 for 6 on threes. This is now a problem with Devin Booker. 9 rebounds, 8 assists for Colin Gillespie. 5 for 13 from the field, 15 points. 6 rebounds, 14 points for Jordan Goodwin. I love that two-headed monster point guard we have. 5 minutes and a goose egg for Oso. Coach Ott saw something he didn't like and pulled him quick. You know something was going on with Oso when he leaves Mark Williams in, who's not being effective, but he won't even let Oso try. No Malowich either. Steady effort from the Hawks. They're a pretty good young team. We out-rebounded them, 47-34. We shot the same from 3. Both of us had 17 turnovers. They barely outshot us, but that fourth quarter, man, you can't drop your guard. If we have 2 less turnovers and Royce makes 1 more shot and Booker makes 1 of his threes, we talk about growing pains. It's going to be a few months to see what we got. This is also what we got. I know we had a 5-game winning streak. I know we could have, should have won this game, but this is where we are right now. This is part of what we talked about over the summer. This is part of the growing pains. This is who this team is right now. We're no worse, we're no better. We are this team. Right now, we are the team that, other than Royce O'Neal having a really off night, gave up 22 points in the fourth quarter. Simple as that. Royce laid an egg, Book couldn't make a 3, and we missed Grayson Allen. Don't read any more into it. That's all that happened tonight. Next up, tomorrow, November 18th, Trailblazers. And this one's on NBC Peacock. Make no mistake, the Trailblazers got a team around them, and the Trailblazers can play right now. And the Trailblazers might give us a big old headache, but it's going to be on NBC Peacock, so you can watch it happen. I know I'm sounding cynical right now, but to watch a 22-point lead disappear in the fourth quarter when we are the team that's supposed to come back and do that to the other team, I'm a little concerned right now. I just don't want us to slide because of that, and it's a young team. So other than unacceptable, which is a word that I have a feeling Coach Ott is going to be saying a lot tomorrow, or he might say exactly what I said. He won't, but he might say something along the lines, guys, moving on. We got another game, and this team's going to play us just as hard. So let's not do what we did, and hopefully Grayson Allen comes back. From Nevets Up. Rich, I saw there's a Magic latest on YouTube that follows the same format as someone copying yours as part of the larger network. This is all part of FanArch. Am I getting that right? FanArch. Yeah, there's a few of us. I know there's a Celtics guy. I know there's a Magic guy. They also have for the NFL and baseball, I think, too. The Celtics guy is good. He's the only one that I've watched all the way through. I just kind of liked his format. We're all doing this. So the Celtics guy is good. And Nevetsov goes on to say, interesting, they must have done some deep recruiting to find such knowledgeable and homegrown hosts with such expansive background stories. I'm just a big old Suns fan, and I got a computer, and I have the internet, and I'm a little obsessive. That's all I got. But I appreciate you saying that. That's very nice. Hammered on PHX. I try not to be an armchair general manager. We all try not to be. But I really wanted Halliburton. Yeah. He'd have been great. Think about him and Booker together. Yikers. I'm sorry. I like him and Grayson. I like him and Gillespie. I like him and Goodwin. I think we're doing just fine. Never heard of Keith Erickson. Look him up. No, I love Keith Erickson. I always like Keith Erickson was one of my favorite Suns ever. Been a lot of great hustlers off the bench. My favorite is the Brazilian Blur. Love the story of him showing up in a pair of worn-out tennis shoes. I vaguely remember that story. Will somebody remind me of what that story was? Yeah, what was his first practice or tryout or something? That's a trip. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we might have our last hustler of the night. You guys, let me know of a hustler that I might have missed. I think we covered them all, right? Just put it in the comments. Andrew W. Ruiz. Oso plus 52 in the Pacer game. You were all guilty of writing him off just a few games ago, and it's only his second season. I'm glad he could prove a lot of you wrong. Now I need to see him keep doing that. He hasn't proven anybody wrong. He had a good game against absolutely nobody really guarding him, and did most of his damage in the second half when the game was long over. So I'm not ripping on you or Oso. I'm saying, and I said this before about Oso, I'm on the fence because I want to see him do this against Dallas. He didn't do anything. He hasn't done this yet. He's had glimpses of his quickness and his court vision. But he did it against a team that is 1-10 and is completely decimated and doesn't have Miles Turner defending anymore. Okay? Just be honest with yourself about Oso. You see it, and you want to see it happen. He's got to do this against Minnesota. He needs to do it tomorrow against Portland, who have a lot of young, tall, lanky defenders in the front court. He needs to have that kind of game against a body. Okay? That is when I will stop wondering if Oso is the real deal. But until then, yeah, he had a pretty good game. Do it against OKC. Do it against Minnesota. Win a game for us. It's your second year, and you look really good in the preseason. but I do love seeing the potential, same as one Yaki. Love seeing the potential the Suns have. Anonymous Rex, I really enjoy the stories from your past. Thank you. It's fun to rehash them with you guys. Thank you. Here's one for you. In 07, I was working at a Prime Steakhouse in Phoenix. Monty's La Casa Vieja. No, I don't know. We had a cater out at agent Larry Walkers? Walters or I can't remember. I think that was his last name. Oh, you're saying Walkers. I'm saying Walters. We both don't know. Home celebrating his wife's birthday. It was a small gathering. Amongst the guests were Muhammad Ali and Jerry Colangelo. That's cool. Celebration took place the night that the Warriors, with Baron Davis, fun Warriors team, beat the 67-win Mavericks team in the playoffs. Oh, wow. That was the first round thing, right? The game was on the TV in a small workout room. Colangelo and Walker invited me and my team in to come watch the fourth quarter with them. I watched that game with Colangelo and Muhammad Ali all night. Oh, man. Why didn't you call? I would have dropped what I was doing. I would have called in sick. That's really, really cool. Muhammad Ali. Wow. That's amazing. That's incredible. God, to watch a game with somebody like Colangelo too, and just to get their perspective on it and to talk shop after the game. Oh, that's so great. That's so great. A Curious Mind 2525. Hello, sir. Grayson got kneed in the lower right quad. Ow, right above the knee. Contusion, bad bruise. Allen also has been dealing with lower back contusion. He keeps aggravating every time he lands on his back. Plus, he twisted his ankle during the last Clipper game but kept playing. Grayson needed a rest. That's fine. Nothing serious, I hope. Well, yeah, we need him right now. It's early in the season. Let's get these injuries out of the way, okay? All right. Remember, it's the Western Conference. We are 8-6. That's a lot better than we thought. A lot of people were going to. That's a lot better than I thought we were going to be. I thought we might be 500. The league thought we weren't going to win a game all year, like all the big entities. So remember, it's the West. You get low in the West at this point of the season, you're screwed. So we are in a very good spot. We just need to ride out our injuries. Monkey Touch. I heard someone say that Oso is the quickest big man in the league. I thought it was just an exaggeration from a Suns fan, but maybe right. I think you're talking about Oso. Oso's quick. I don't know. I haven't seen everybody in the league play yet. It's still early in the season. Yeah. All right. Moving on. So as I said earlier, this might be the last Suns Legend of the Day Hustler edition. The only hustlers that I didn't do are guys that I've done who are maybe top 15, like Van Arsdale would have been a hustler. But we did Ronnie Lee, like way back in the day. We did Alvin Scott, who was a hustler. So I'm trying to think if I've covered it all, and I keep looking at the rosters from way back in the day to recent, but it looks like we got them all. So if it ends tonight, that's cool, because today's Hustler of the Day is the guy whose name is on the Suns Hustler Award. It's Dan Majerle, out of Michigan, Central Michigan, 6'6", 220-pound shooting guard and small forward, drafted by the home team in the first round, 14th pick overall by the Phoenix Suns, in 88, drafted and booed by you horrible Suns fans with the announcement. And Coach Cotton Fitzsimmons told the crowd that they would be sorry they booed this young man, and Cotton, as always, was right. Thunder Dan Majerle, back up his first 3 seasons, steadily improved, became this incredible defensive player, became this incredible three-point shooter, became this incredible dunker. Al McCoy giving him the name Thunder Dan. He was also surprisingly strong, and a lot of times put on the opponent's best defender, regardless of position. All defense after 90-91. In 92, the rep really got solidified, and Majerle was the most popular center. We had KJ. Dan Majerle was mobbed wherever he went. Dan Majerle opened Majerle Sports Bar and Grill, which is still open in downtown Phoenix. Dan Majerle was the man and loved being Thunder Dan Majerle and took it all in. He was a great Phoenix Sun player for us. In 92, only started 15 games, named to the All-Star team. We get Barkley the next year. Majerle moves into the starting lineup as shooting guard because Hornacek got traded for Barkley. Okay, I'm over it. Majerle gets another all-defense second-team selection, scores 18 points in the All-Star game, leads the league in threes made and attempted, and 62 wins later, the Suns are in the finals, but we don't get to the finals without beating the Sonics in the Western Conference Finals, the Kemp and Peyton Sonics in the 93 playoffs. Game 5, Thunder Dan hits 8 three-pointers, tying an NBA playoff record, gets 34 points of the game. We don't get to the finals, even though we have the best player in the world, besides Mike and Chuck. We don't get to the finals without Thunder Dan. Game 3 of the finals, Thunder Dan gets 28 in the win in Chicago. Yes, we all know what happened. Let's move on. Another All-Star game the next season, but moved to small forward. with the arrival of Wesley Person as the new shooting guard. We traded Thunder Dan to Cleveland. I think that was the Hot Rod Williams trade. We needed it for size. It was a weird trade. That was an odd trade. But I get it, and I didn't get it. He didn't wear out his welcome. He was still Thunder Dan. Plays 4 seasons with the Heat, returns to the Suns for the 01-02 season, leads us in threes, retires with the home team, retired as a Sun. What can you say about Dan Majerle? The award is named after him. Would do anything to win. And one of the few players who you got to see improve his game from season to season to season till he became a commodity. Everybody wanted Dan Majerle on their team. But we got him back, and he retired as a Sun. Ring of Honor, Hustle Award named after him. Your Son's Legend of the Day. Hustler Edition is Dan Majerle. Let me know if there's hustlers that I missed, because I think we've run the gamut on this one. All right, next up tomorrow, Tuesday, the 18th, Trailblazers. We are at Portland. It is not going to be an easy game. I don't know if we have Grayson Allen back. I want him back, and I want Royce O'Neal to rectify what he just did against the Hawks. So Royce O'Neal's not going to miss a shot. Fair enough? All right, I don't think that's too much to ask for. This one is also nationally televised, NBC Peacock. Go Suns.